Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again, and we're taking a little bit of a break from the Brothers War at the moment. I've done quite a few deck techs on that recently. I've decided to do something, try and do something a little bit different. So I've spent some time today having looked through EDHREC and looking and seeing what the top decks are. If you don't know where EDHREC is, I'll put a link down below. It's a really good Commander website. I'm expect if you're watching this video, you've heard of it, so I probably don't need to tell you about it. But I'll put a link in the description anyway. And I was going through some of the top cards and top decks. I'm ignoring the top 10, mainly because some of them I've already covered, like Atraxa. Some of them, everyone knows about them, have had enough. But I decided to go through some of the lists and look through some of the things that have been most popular over the last year. And there's a couple of cards that I've noticed that are there that I do like, but I have played before. I've played in paper, but I realised I've never built them and played them on stream or done YouTube videos about it. So I picked one of them to start off today with. And today's card for this little mini kind of series that'll occur occasionally is Kykar, Wind's Fury, 1 blue, red and white for a 3/3 legendary creature bird wizard, that says there somewhere. Has flying, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, and then you can sacrifice a spirit to add a red mana to your mana pool. It's been around for a while. It came out in M20, which was quite a few years back now as I do this. It's really cheap on MTGO if you haven't got one already. And I decided it's a bit different. Yes, there's a lot of blue, red, white decks around. Yes, we've all seen them. Yes, we know they turn up occasionally. And yes, there's just spells matters decks as well. I'm aware of that. And I've tried to sort of like put some of the new cards in from all the recent sets, put some of the classic cards in, and build the deck around the whole casting a non-creature spell. So, the deck itself looks like this. We've got, where are we? 37 lands, 14 creatures, 48 other cards. I'll go through the lands as usual. It's basically all the red, blue, white lands that I own in my collection. I've included Fable Passage and Exotic Orchard. I haven't included Field of the Dead in this one, so I thought, no, we're not trying to do zombies today, so I left it alone. Just because I am getting concerned about the rising numbers of blood moons and similar effects I'm seeing. I am, like I said before, I'm going with at least 4 of each basic now. So we've got 4 islands, 4 mountains, 4 plains. We have got Reliquary Tower in the deck, and we have got Temple of the False God to help ramp the mana. And speaking of the mana ramp, because we're playing a 3-colour deck, I've decided to try and do, again, it's a little bit of an experiment for me with this, so bear with me. Mox Tantalite because it does add 1 mana of any colour. Soul Ring because it's a commander deck and you've got to play Soul Ring. And then I've gone with Arcane Signet, Fire Diamond, Marble Diamond, Sky Diamond. Now that may be a little bit short of ramp. It may be you want to play some of the 3 mana ones. The Celestus springs to mind. What else springs to mind? Maybe the Lantern. Anything else, you may want to play 1 or 2 more of some of the other cards, especially because I've got the expensive cards in here because it's MTGO, not real life. So don't panic if you've looked at the deck list down below when you hit the subscribe button and you hit the like button. When you've seen the deck list that I've posted and you see it's sort of like thousands of dollars, it's because there's 2 cards in here you can take out and replace with mana rocks. It's fine. So the rest of the deck itself is really built around trying to do this whole casting non-creature spells and benefiting from having Kykar in play or some of the other cards that are very similar to it. So I'll try and pick the creatures out as we go along just so you can have a proper look at them. But we'll just go through them as we usually do by mana cost, and we'll start with the ones. Brainstorm, draw cards. You want to keep your hand full as much as possible because you want to be casting the spells to get the benefits. You want the spirits, so on and so forth. Serum Visions, draws a card. Lightning Bolt for a little bit of removal. And then Elixir of Immortality. I've been playing this a lot. This is a spells deck. It makes sense to have this in here because you're probably going to go through your deck quite quickly. I've played a couple of sort of like me versus no one test games on MTGO, and you do draw a lot of cards with this deck very quickly. So having the Elixir come out and get that all cycled back into your library is a really good idea. Right, the first of the creatures that isn't Kykar is Baral, Chief of Compliance. It drops the cost for our instants and sorcery spells, and they are mainly instants and sorceries in here, so bear that in mind. We're not countering anything. Whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card. We're not doing that with this deck. We are purely using Baral to drop the cost of our instants and sorceries as we go along, so bear that in mind. Cyclonic Rift, you've seen it before. Deliberate, because it's really nice if we've got this in play and we can scry 2, then draw a card, so it really helps out a little bit. Ominous Seas, because we're going to be drawing the cards, so we might as well get some 8/8 creatures as we go along, as we go through the game, and you will do. Alright, Thing in the Ice is the next creature. This is really a control card. You want to play it when you can do a whole load of cheap instants and sorceries. So if you've got a load of opponents with loads of opponents in play, you just flip this and it shoves them all back in their hand. Hopefully you'll play it when you haven't got any other creatures in play, but if you have, oh well, they'll go back to your hand. Deal with it. Think Twice is next, just so we can flash back the card draw. Electrostatic Field is coming in. It's quite a good early blocker. Obviously don't block anything with Death Touch, but it's a nice early blocker. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Global damage is really nice. Thermo Alchemist is in because it does the same thing. You just have to tap it to do it, so you have to wait for it to lose its summoning sickness. Again, it's a reasonable blocker, but this one's got the nice bonus that you can untap it whenever you cast an instant or sorcery. But Electrostatic Field is probably slightly better because it just goes off when you do it, so bear that in mind. Don't forget your untapped triggers if you've got the Thermo Alchemist in play, is basically what I'm saying. Young Pyromancer has been around for ages. It's one of the most common cards that turns up in this type of deck. But, you know, we're going to be casting instants and sorcery, so we might as well get an army of 1/1 red elemental blockers if we can. Wrath Weatherlight Stewart is from Dominaria United. Yep, I am right in thinking it was that. This one's a new card I've dropped in the deck. I did think about doing a whole deck tech around this, but it was just too much token strategy based. So I've dropped it in here because we do have lots of tokens being generated. We've got more ways than what we've seen so far, so bear that in mind. So we probably will have 2 creatures we can tap to draw a card whenever we cast an instant sorcery, and it gives another way of drawing cards, so it's quite nice. Expressive Iteration has made its mark in Standard. I'm guessing you all know what that does, but again, it's a nice cheap sorcery. Fire Mines Research is an older card, and it's quite a nice way of drawing cards if we need to, and it charges up, and having that ability to do 5 damage to any target can be quite nice when you get 5 charge counters on it for 2 mana. So yes, you've spent a lot of mana to get the charge counters, but at the end of the day, 1 and a red, remove the 5, ping something for 5, might save you or win you the game if you can't quite get there. Sorcerer class is in from Forgotten Realms. Again, it's in for the level 3 ability. We want to get there whenever we can. It's one of our kind of win conditions in the deck. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery, it deals damage to that opponent equal to the number of instant sorcery spells you've cast this turn. And we do want to be casting a lot of them, and hopefully we will be with this deck. There is a really nice way of doing a little combo at the end of this, which I'll get to with this in a minute. It's 3 cards as well. It's lots of cards plus 2 cards, this and 1 other card, so bear it in mind. Third Path Iconoclast, is a new one from the Brothers War. Does the same thing, but whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get a 1/1 colourless soldier artifact creature token. So yeah, you're still building your creatures up. A little bit more complicated to cast than Young Pyromancer, but oh well, we'll deal with it. Thrilling Discovery, gain 2 life, discard a couple of cards, draw 3. Nice. Moving on to the 3 drops. Monastery Mentor's another one of those things that creates tokens for us. We like these ones. This one's even better because this has prowess, so this gets bigger itself. And the creature tokens you create, the monks, actually also have prowess. So it just gets better and better and better. The more instances we cast, the bigger things we get. So bear that in mind. Teferi's Protection is in purely just to protect us and all our stuff when we have it in play. Secret Rendezvous, yes, you have to give some cards for the opponent, but you can always give them to someone who's tapped out and you can draw your 3. Mentor's Guidance, because the chances of us being able to copy this are quite high. Between Monastery Mentor, Young Pyromancer, I can't remember if it does, I don't think it does Shamans, does it? Yes, it does do Shamans. So Thermal Alchemist and Iconoclast, because it's a monk, which that's the one it can't do monk. Take it back, so ignore the Iconoclast. You still probably get to copy this. You know, at the end of the day, Kira's a wizard. Kykar, or however you want to pronounce it, is a wizard as well. So, you know, you can get some benefit from it. Timetwister, you probably saw me go over it. It's in here, it's expensive, along with Wheel of Fortune. These are the 2 cards I was talking about you dropping if you want to try and build this in real life and keep it cheap. If you've got loads of money, yeah, please feel free to ping me a question from my address and send me a copy of Timetwister. Won't say no to it. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm joking. No, just drop them out, put something else in. Hercle's in again. I've put this in from Brothers War. At the beginning of your end step, if you've cast a non-creature spell this turn, reveal the top 5 cards of your library. For each card type among non-creature spells you've cast this turn, you may put a card of that type from among them revealed into your hand. Nice. So if you cast an instant and a sorcery, at the end of your turn, you can reveal the top 5, put one of each in your hand. Just replenish it. And it's a 2/4 for 3 mana, which is reasonably good blocking stats. Goblin Slide is another way, if you get to a point where we've got a lot of extra mana kicking around and you're casting the cheap stuff, this is a nice way of just building up some more tokens to tap to draw if you need to. Gutter Snipe is the other one. Instants and sorceries, just pings everyone for 2, so, bigger version of Electrostatic Field, but a little bit more easily to remove, so bear that in mind when you're doing this. Levana, Cultus of Tiamat's in, so I've got an itch. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target creature gets +X/+X until the end of the turn, where X is that spell's mana value. So if you've got some of these little spirit guys in play and you start casting some spells, you can pump them up. Maybe Alpha Strike someone, Riftbolt I chucked in because it's a nice way suspending something, getting that 3 extra damage, triggering some of our other creatures. Wheel of Fortune I've mentioned. Exotic Pets I put in from Streets of New Capenna, if I remember correctly. Yay! Okay. I quite like this. Haven't got any counters on anything else, but they're 1/1s that can't be blocked. And they're blockers at the end of the day if you need an instant speed blocker. So I went with these instead of some of the more traditional, so like Goblins and Soldier creators at 2 mana. So again, you can swap it out, put them in if you want to. Krenko's Command springs to mind, for example. Thief Divisions is a nice way of dealing some extra damage to opponents if you can get it out nice and early. Everyone draws a card at the end of their turn. If they've got 4 more cards in their hand, it pings them for it's not ping, sorry, it shocks them. So bear that in mind. It's a nice little way of doing it. Smothering Tide, you know what it is, you know what it does, not going into it. Behold the Multiverse, the Foretell ability is what we're doing with this, so we can get the Scry and the draw for cheap. Kempster's Insight's in, so we can jump start it. If we need to, you may cast this card from your graveyard, be discarding a card, and if you've got a whole load of lands you don't need, you can discard 1, pay the 4, get 2 more cards. Yes, it gets exiled, but so be it. Tamio's Epiphany's a nice card. It's sorcery, but the 4, scry 4, get the 2 best cards out of the 4. If you don't like any of the 4, put them all on the bottom. Have a blind draw is really nice. Teferi's Aegis Insight from M21 is also in as well, just so we, when we draw an extra card on our turn, we draw 2. Keeps our hand going. Mizzix's Mastery was the card I was talking about earlier with the combo. Remember Sorcerer class over here at level 3? Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, that spell deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of instants or sorcery spells you've cast this turn. This, plus this, really does give your opponent a hard time because you want to be you don't want to cast this until you can overload it and you've got a nice full graveyard. Yes, it exiles everything, but if you've got a nice full graveyard and you're doing all this stuff, hey, you'll be surprised how much damage you can do to your opponent really quickly. Pirate's Pillage, again, this one's a bit different. Yes, we have to discard a card, but we're going to draw 2 and get 2 treasures, so it only really costs us 2 mana to do it. Bear that in mind when you're playing this. I chucked in Maniform Hellkite. We've only got 14 creatures in the deck in whole. We've got some more coming up shortly. And this is a reasonable dragon because it does give you hasty tokens that you can attack with, so it's quite nice from that point of view. Unexpected Windfall, another variation of the Pirate's Pillage. The only difference is this one's instant and it's 2 red and 2 instead of 3 and 1 red, but it's still the same card for all intents and purposes. Ojutai's Command is the only thing we've got that can counter target creature spell. That's it. It's the only counter spell we've got on the whole deck, but you're really doing it to draw a card and maybe gain 4 life if you're getting a bit short, so bear that in mind. The only Planeswalker in the deck is Narset of the Ancient Way. +1, gain the 2 life, get a mana of one of the colours you need, cast a non-creature spell, gives us a nice little ramp if we need to. The -6, if we can ever get there, is really good as well. It just shocks every time we cast one of our spells, so hopefully we will be able to protect it and get to -6 in a couple of turns, so that's pretty good. Aetherflux Reservoir. This is another one of those little backup win conditions I've chucked in. I figured we'd be casting enough spells during the course of a game that we might be able to get over 50 life and just kill someone that way. So hence why it's here. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but I decided it's worth trying out in this deck. Court of Ear, if nothing else, is going to shock someone every turn. If you're still the Monarch, hey, guess what? You're going to be doing something 7 damage every turn. That deals with most of the problematic creatures in Commander at the moment. It will put your opponents on a clock if you can keep your monarchy somehow, or, you know, get it back by attacking with a spirit. Bear it in mind. It's a really nice way of getting that going. Prophetic Bolt is just something I put in because it's a card I played with back in the day when it first released, and I still like playing in any blue-red decks I get. This is probably a wasted slot for everyone else, but it's just a memory card for me, so bear that in mind. Alicia of the Infinite, I've checked in as well. This has been reprinted recently in Double Masters 2022, if I remember correctly. Yep, got it right. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Yes, it's an expensive legendary Jin Monk, there you go. But it gives you the ability to cast non-creature spells from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, you may cast it as though it had flash. Pretty damn good card, realistically. But it's, you know, these and this are probably interchangeable as the commanders in this deck. But I wanted to do a Kykar because I wanted the spirits and the extra mana. If you haven't got one, go with LS. You could probably change it over and just put an extra ramp card in here if you wanted to. Narset Enlightened Masters in as well. I thought I'd play the non-planeswalker version of Narset for the deck. I like this card. This has always been one of those cards. When I first started playing Commander years ago, this was always one that dominated the tables. The first strike, the hexproof, and just flipping over those top 4 cards and playing all the non-creature spells from among them was crazy. That is the purely only reason we have Omniscience in this deck. I don't expect if you can get to cast Omniscience, you're going to be really, really happy. I realise that entirely. But, you know, attacking with Narset and flipping this is just going to cause your opponent your opponents a whole world of hurt. Hence why it's in here. The 7 drops, Approach of the Second Sun is just another backup win condition if we need it. Nexus of Fate, I only played 1 extra turn spell. I decided to play this one because it does shuffle back in if it goes anywhere in your graveyard. Obviously it gets exiled, completely different kettle of fish, but you know, be put into your graveyard, you get to shuffle it back in, so it's great. Overflowing Insights in as well. Drawing 7 cards really helps you out if you're behind. Emergency Powers is the second way of getting our graveyard shuffled back into our library. And it's, you know, add a minimum if you play it in your main phase to get the mana value 7 or less. You know, you can put something else into play if you wanted to. Yeah, Narset, Elesh, you know, Aetherflux Reservoir, even at a push. Inspired Ultimatum from Ikoria, I decided to chuck in as well, just for the 5 damage. Game 5, deal 5, draw 5. 7 mana, that's right. Omniscience I've already talked about. Final card in the deck, because I am determined at some stage to win a game of Commander when I'm playing red with this. Okay? I had a choice at the end. I had 98 cards in the deck. It was either put Dockside Extortionist in, which, you know, I've said I usually play in most of my red decks. I've purposely kept it out of here because of what we're trying to do. It's probably a really good card to have in the deck. You could take Crackle of Power out and put Dockside in if you wanted to. I just still want to try and win with Crackle with Power, so that's why that's in here over Dockside. I may change it. I'll let you know if I've changed it when I do the video. When I upload the video, I'll let you know in the description down below. But at the moment, I intend playing the deck a few times on stream like this. So that's it. That is my little take on Kykar. Let's go with Kykar Wind's Fury. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've hit the like button. I hope you've hit the subscribe button. This is, like I say, it's going to be start of a little mini series on the channel for a little while. I'll still do some Brother Walls things. There's still a few more things I want to get out there and do. I am just purely waiting for some of the prices of the Commander Legends to come down before I start doing it again. But you'll see the odd video pop up, and these will be the other videos coming for the short time. So, for now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you hopefully soon, or I'll be reading your comments really soon, and I'll be seeing you on stream. Stream's down below. Come and see me down there. Take care. See you later. Bye.